Hello everybody, you are listening to Radio Maria Canada in the city of Toronto. And here with me in the studio I have two sisters. Let them introduce themselves, so I don't have to introduce them as about their I just know that their order is a very young order and they are both young too. So, sister.
So my name is Sister Dulce, and I belong to the Institute of the Sisters for Jesus Christ. We are based in Brazil. Our foundation is from Brazil, so we are 22 years old, a very young community.
My name is Sister Maria Elisa. I belong to the Institute of the Sisters for Jesus Christ. We've been here in Canada for 8 years, and that's it.
So the whole order has been 8 years here in Canada.
Yes.
And so if I got the name right, the Sisters
Poor of Jesus Christ.
The Sisters
Poor of Jesus Christ.
Oh, the Sisters Poor of Jesus Christ. It's not the Poor Sisters of Jesus Christ.
No, they always mix it out with Sisters Poor of Jesus, Jesus Poor of the Sisters of the Lolo, Sisters Poor of Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Okay, so before I ask any personal questions, they will come. About the religious life as a whole, this will be taken out. Then, you know, in the three figures in the Old Testament, priest, prophet, and king. And I get the priest and king, they have pedigree. That means the son of a king is the next king, and the son of a priest is the next priest. So the priests are from the tribe of Levi, one of the third son of Jacob. And the king, so after King David, King Solomon, and so forth. The prophet is only one that your kid is not a prophet. So prophets they spring up. The prophets and the judge, before the prophets they were also the judges. And as Amos says, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a son of a prophet. So I was called. I was called. So that's the difference thing between the priest and the king. The prophet is called, is by vocation. Mm-hmm. And it's, I would say, like in the Time magazine, the man of the year. So it's the right person for the right moment, the prophet. And he's very critic of the priest, the ones that are really attached. Mm-hmm. The critic of the political power and critical of the religious power. The priest and the king, they represent. Mm-hmm. They are shepherds. So they represent the power. And the prophets, as you see in the Bible tradition, is very critical of both. Mm-hmm. The king and the priests and the temple, all the sacrifices, all that. What I want is justice and peace. So, and we are baptized. When we are baptized into kings, prophets, and priests. So, religious life comes from this prophet. That is, it's the church answering to some need of the society and some need of the church itself. Mm-hmm. And if we see the history of religious life, I'm not a specialist on it. My specialist is ethical, moral theology. But you can see that some religious orders, they spring up in a particular moment, in a particular place, and other religious orders, they just cease to exist. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. You know, pastors there will be as long as there is sheep, mm-hmm. there is pastors, and kings, there is always the political power. But the religious life belongs to a time. Mm-hmm. Belongs to a time, belongs to a place, and is the answer of the church and the answer of God, because God is the one who who calls. So in this big introduction, just to how did your order, what was the answer to what? So what were the circumstances where your religious order was founded, and as an answer to a particular problem or situation?
Yeah, I think, and I'm certain that the Lord, the Holy Spirit always inspires communities to fulfill in a specific need of the world, right?
Yeah.
So our community started in 2001. Our founder, he was from the Oblates of Mary Immaculate. He was part of already a community, a religious community, and he was serving as a priest in this parish in a very one of the slums in Brazil, in São Paulo. So all his parishioners were people that in their family they have struggles with drugs and with addictions and with a lot of poverty, nothing to eat, and a lot of things like that. So he was always very very touched by all those things, and he started to feel this thing like God was asking him something else, and he was like, but what is it? What do you want me to do? Right? And little by little he discerned that was actually to start, and it wasn't first a community, right, a religious order, but was an association to start to help the poor in a special way, all of those who struggle with addictions, because that was the situation in his parish, and he will see around São Paulo and all the countries that was the wound of society, the drugs that they didn't know how to do it, how to deal with it, and everything started like that. So he was doing his master's in anthropology. So he was like studying, going to university, and he didn't know how to handle it, and he was like, okay, I want to help you guys, and he will gather all the guys that were suffering from addictions, and he will give them information, try to spend time with them, so that way they would not go and use drugs. But he got to a point like he's like, I don't know what to do anymore because I have to go to university. So he took them with him. To university. So they would sit in the back of the classroom, so that way they would not be using, at least doing something. So that's how our community started with our founder.
Just nuns, or also?
It was just, first of all, it was just our priest, our Father Gilson. He's our founder, and our foundress came along with him. That is Sister Servant.
Oh, this.
Yeah, so they together started the community. So it started like just the brothers, because it was a strong, more like men would come, and then
so you had brothers too?
We did have brothers
so
too.
They are two separate communities?
Two separate communities, yes.
So you founded the brothers first?
Yes,
and
they were kind of the first that came along, yes.
And then the sisters.
The sisters, okay. Yeah, so that was the answer. So, and then after, he was just, I don't know what to do, and they didn't have money, and our founder, she was like, I don't know what to do, how we're gonna do this, we don't have money to rent a place, and they were thinking what we're gonna do, and he was like, okay, let's try to see a rent somewhere so we can rent and put them there, because they wanted to like put a place so they can live a treatment. But then he didn't know how to do the treatment. He didn't know in the beginning what was going on. But little by little, the Lord was, showing him, look, do this, do that. And it came to a point that he wasn't found in a community. But it just came in his mind, is like, I would not be able to be a pastor of this parish and do my ministry here, and also have a house with people that are suffering from addiction. And he was just started to discern, and he always said that he went to his superior with the Oblates of the Mary Immaculate, and he's like, and he told his superior like this whole thing, how it started and everything that he had in his heart, and this priest was such a guide for him, like, do this, if the Lord is calling you, stop and listen to his voice. Know what he's really saying to you. So it was really interesting how even this priest, this superior of our founder, was such a figure for him to actually guide him, like, and also actually affirming him that he was doing it was the Lord's voice, even though he knew it's kind of blurry in the beginning. You don't know how to kind of discern it, right? So it was something like that. So we started with addiction, with people that struggle with addiction, and our founders always
Which is drug addiction?
Drug addiction and alcohol.
And alcohol.
Yeah, and I remember this very testimony that our founder and our founders, they always said about this. So this was like the beginning. They was like, okay, we have to do something. It was this homeless that he used to do heroin, a lot of heroin, and he was fighting. He was like, okay, I'm gonna stop, and he was going good. He was like free for a little bit, but it was so many years that he has been like, he was an addict for so long that he didn't know how to live without it. So he was so desperate. He get to a point that he was with a very strong withdrawal, and he injected how does it call, like a very weird substance in him, because he didn't have money to buy anything. So he injected something else and he died. So our foundress, like, he called our foundress, and he said, "Sister, I need help because I did something wrong and I just need your help." And when she went there, she found him. He was already dead. So that was like this cry that is like, we need to do something. And so that was like the start, the foundation of like, we can't just stay there here as just looking and seeing what is going on, but we're not doing anything.
So he died for a cause.
He died for a cause. Yeah, and everything started with that.
It's well, in my life, for as long as I've lived, there is no evil that doesn't come for good.
Yeah.
No hay males que por bien no vengan.
Yeah.
And that's I find it wherever. It's the Felix Culp of St. Augustine. So that the first man and the first woman, they sin, but somehow sin is a sin. But still, because of that sin, we have the second person of the Holy Trinity visit us, and so and I find so many examples of these evil things that turn out to so. Somehow he killed himself for a purpose. We could see, well, what he did is wrong, but of course he was drawn by addiction, and the body was requiring some substance. And but that was the thing that God used so to call for action.
Yeah.
So how is it different? Because you know the 12 steps,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
We study that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's our base treatment. That's what
The
we
12
do for.
steps.
Yeah, the 12 steps for 9
and
months.
the AA.
Yeah.
So tell people, whoever listens to this interview, how you are different from the AA and the 12 steps.
So we're kind of.
You can come in if you want. If the Holy Spirit
She's an expert on that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, based on my experience, I used to live in a rehab house, in our house one for women that we have, and a different is that they're not meetings. They actually live with us for 9 months. We don't like, they don't need money.
So in a way, it's already
they live with us. So we have a specific house.
It's not a meeting that
No.
so and then.
We do have meetings, but
meetings
we
within.
do have. But we have this. It's another
It's
ministry.
like a residential course.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I did one in England in psycho-spiritual counseling.
Yeah.
Residential course.
So we do have something called Be Sober. So we have room meetings that we help people as well, and also their families. But the real treatment for people that are 20 years or more years that they are users of drugs or alcohol for a long, so they want to recover. So we have specific houses, rehab houses for them. And we sister and the brothers, they live. We don't have normally in these houses they have all this medical stuff. No, we are the one who really do the treatment, but we of course we have help from psychologists.
Yeah.
Because every person is different.
Yeah.
They have suffered from many things, and we always need help in that assistance.
And there is a background, an
Yes.
existential background in each one of those persons that
Yeah.
led them
Yeah.
to drugs.
Yeah. So we don't treat just the drugs itself.
Yeah.
We treat
The person.
the thing that
That
led them to go to
Yeah.
that very place, to
Yes.
get to the so many years and everything. So because it's easier to treat that very moment, that consequence of the effect of the drug, but it's harder to treat the cause of everything.
Yeah, it's true.
It is harder.
But the root cause,
Yeah,
if it remains there,
it's just
you
inevitable.
can go back.
It will go back to it. So I think that's very different. And also what the three pillars of our treatment, it's prayer, right? That it's one of the things I think without Jesus, without him, without the spiritual part, there's no way to see us as human beings, as children of God, a temple of the Holy Spirit, and people assigned with a meaning and purpose in life. That is not just, we can't just live our life meaningless.
Yeah.
God has called us for something, and we have, how can I say,
You have the meaning. You see, because the AA is, they try to be agnostic, so to
Yeah.
say, although in the base is even the 12 steps 12. It's
yeah, it's even there.
but they try to be so that they welcome
Reach,
anybody.
yeah.
They can
Yeah.
reach everybody. But it's the same as psychology. You know, I get healthy for what? I mean, what's the meaning of life? And that psychology cannot give. And so one of the three pillars, so it's prayer. So you establish a relationship with Jesus, and that helps and motivates and gives meaning to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then labor, work, you know, they work so because they have been so long in the streets, so some people just, you know, doing whatever in life, not working. So that dignifies and give meaning again to work, to the work they do. If they work in the land, they, of course, it needs to be like a little farm so they can work with the land, with plants, with animals, but also like we normally in every house we have a specific job. You know, they work with wood, like the men, they normally work with wood. So they do tables, they do a lot of things so they can sell.
Yeah.
So that's why we support our rehab houses. So the things they do, and they feel like, wow, I did this. So it dignifies who they are.
That's true. That's true.
And also the women, the same thing with the women. So they have we have different things. Our men work with wood, and women work with other things. So
the work is itself
a therapy, and then we have the fraternal life. That's what heals this relational problem between people, right? Because we have because we tried and as much as we can to bring this phase of fraternal life, like community, because they've been so out of society that they don't know anymore how to have a relationship with someone or how to deal with people, right? So giving a healthy fraternal life so they can learn to love again in the healthy way, not anymore in the way they were taught or the way they think it is the best one, but to learn actually from Jesus and with all these things, how to deal with things, how to really create bonds between people in a healthy way.
And you tell them to cut up certain relationships that led them to.
Yes, that's
at least for the time they are there with you.
And that's one of the things though, the challenges we always face, right? Sometimes they can't go back to their place, wherever they used to be, because their neighborhood, even their parents sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. That's the environment that they had that led them to drugs.
Yeah.
If they go back to that environment, they'll become weak and they go back to. What are the other two pillars? You said prayer is one of the pillars.
So it's prayer, work. I mean, we
Work,
labor, right, and fraternal, like
Fraternal life.
healthy fraternal life.
Community life.
Community life. There you go.
Okay, very good.
So I don't know if you have something to say, sister. Something else.
Yes. Another thing that I think that makes us different from the AA. I mean, we use the 12 steps and they are very, very important. But the way we see sobriety as a way to achieve holiness. This is the
Mhm.
thing. We want them to be sober, not just from drugs, but from like everything that can make me separated from God.
Yeah, like loving God above everything. And that means everything.
Yeah,
Mm.
literally.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the commandment says everything, but I always put and everybody too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So your the love for God should come first before the love you have for even your parents. Jesus said it clear: if you love your parents more than you love me, and I know a sister in Spain that because she became a sister, her father for 30 years never spoke to her. So there you are. Who do you love first, God or your father? And follow what your father tells you to do. So I always say above everything and above everyone.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, go ahead, sister.
So in our shelters, they can receive the sacraments if they want.
Yeah.
So it's a Catholic shelter. So if you want, we can receive communion, we can receive all of those sacraments that the people don't have.
Yeah.
They can receive.
Good. So your religious life, as I was saying, that's the theory, the theology behind the religious life is that it's an answer to a situation. It's poverty because, you know, you can't be more poor when you don't have any control over your life.
Yeah.
So you are really the poor of the poorest.
Yeah.
And so that's the poverty, a urban poverty. That's being addicted to any substance or addicted to behaviors also. How many countries are you in? So you are a religious, it's only 22 years old.
Yes. So if I counted right, we're in 16 countries.
16 countries.
16 countries.
Already.
And our charism did not stop there. So it started with the addicted, and it went to the jails, to prisons.
Oh, jails, yeah. Well,
It went to human traffic and prostitutes as well.
Wow.
It went to the poor on the streets and the homeless, the kids that are hungry, to the elderly that are abandoned.
Wow.
So
isn't that too much now?
So I think that's why our community extended so fast.
Yeah.
Because for us, as poor of Jesus Christ,
So you got all poverties.
we got,
poverties.
yeah, I mean,
And if any poverty is still to come,
it's here to come.
you have the charisma to that one.
That's where we go. So we don't have like a specific thing. We just do this, you know. Whenever a country call us or a diocese, archdiocese call us, it's always like, they always come with a necessity. Okay, I want you. I remember the Archbishop in Los Angeles that's very clear in my mind when he said that. I just want you to be this light in the darkness of downtown LA. I just want, because we are the only Catholic presence, nuns on the streets, greeting the poor, being with them, praying with them, teaching them how to pray the rosary, you know, allowing them to follow, to have access to sacraments, to know their value.
That's
so,
right. The older religious orders want to
and I think that's really beautiful, because I think the Lord is always so good, and He opens out. His Holy Spirit always works in ways that we never imagined. So I think that's very beautiful, because it's like wherever the Lord wants us to be, there we will be, wherever the necessity, wherever it is needed. It has to be like a home, like an elderly home. So there we are. So we have in São Paulo, in our mother house, it is actually like a nursing home, but the sisters take care of the elderly. So there are a lot of, we found it on the streets. We go to do like street ministry while we go, when we go to the streets to give food and also assistance to the homeless. And we see a lot of people in wheelchairs and things like that. But what are you doing here? No, my family abandoned me. They didn't want to take care of me, so I'm here on the streets. So we take them on our houses, and we give them at least the last years that they're gonna live, like a place where they can have dignity to die.
So it's really, as the Pope Francis said, I don't know if I don't know the sentence in English. Iglesia en salida.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So how do you say
A
that in
pilgrim church,
English?
I don't know.
A pilgrim church.
I don't know how to
A
say
great,
it.
they probably have
For
translated
German.
it, but in English, but when English in salida, that means it's
Yeah.
not easy to translate.
No, it is not. It is not. It's always.
A church that comes out of itself,
Mm-hmm.
that goes out.
Mm-hmm.
That goes out and reaches out to the
Mhm.
poor, and that's a very good thing. That's a very.
Mhm.
How different are you from the Sisters of the Poor that we know of Mother Teresa of Calcutta?
I think we're not very different in terms of
Only the
service.
habit.
Of course, in the habit, we're very different in the habit, and also in the
And the
in the life.
situation where they were born in India,
yeah.
and so you were born in
Yeah.
Brazil, so that's
Yeah.
a difference.
And it's beautiful because even though our rule of life and everything is very different, not very different because we all follow the gospel,
Sure.
right? But it's just very small things. I think because they have this very beautiful combination between prayer and service. We do have that, but they're like contemplative missionaries.
They are more
between.
contemplative.
They have
Yeah,
this
yeah,
beautiful
that's
thing
true.
together, and they have a lot of things that are I really admire the Sisters of Charity, and they have a beautiful work as well. So we're very similar, and in our
okay.
apostolate we do a lot of things very similar, and that's
Mhm.
really beautiful. I just feel like wherever we are not and the Sisters of Charity are, I just know that the Lord is working.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were born
Mhm.
with homeless and extreme poverty.
Yeah,
And diseases.
yeah.
Okay, so just one question that you cannot answer for Maria Elisa. Just to answer for herself, which is the personal question, that how did you come to know the sisters, and what was the personal circumstances in your life that led you to choose this way of life?
So I get to know the sisters through a friend because we were best friends in high school. She's a sister too, Sister Giovanna.
Uh-huh.
So we were best friends in high school, and I remember I don't come from a Catholic family. I come from a Protestant family, so I converted when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
And I remember she would always tell us, me and my sister, because we're twins, and both of us were nuns.
Oh.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And I remember she would always say, "Let's go to church." And I'm like, "Sister Giovanna, we don't go to church with you because we're not Catholic." And she's like, "But just, go and try. We'll have beautiful music and things like that." But we never, sadly, we never went with her. But it came to this point in my life, I remember, that it was just this void, as every human being. I think we always have this very moment of encounter with ourselves. And thanks be to God, it was at a very young age. It was 16 years old. And so I'm really thankful to God that it was young, and I was, I didn't do any like very bad things still. I mean, I did things that I regret, but it was just the right time, right?
Yeah.
And so I just realized how empty, and even though I knew God, because I come from a Protestant family, but it wasn't, even though I knew, I felt from the beginning that I just knew half of the truth.
Yeah.
It's just this longing, very powerful in me, that it was like, I know God, but I just feel that I have never encountered Him personally.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to this very moment that I remember my mom, like, just go to this retreat. And I'm like, "Mom, I'm not Catholic. I'm not gonna go to a Catholic retreat." And she's like, "But just go." I mean,
Your mother
my
was.
My mom is the only Catholic in the family.
She was Catholic.
She is the only
okay.
one, but she was beautiful because she always respected very much what we believe. She never like forced us to anything, just to do First Communion, and I'm so grateful to that. But I remember that she's like, "Go to this retreat," because Sister Giovanna was inviting us, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna. I don't want to go," and she insisted so much that I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go because my mom is just bothering me so much. Okay, I'm gonna go." And I remember when I went to that retreat, I went with an open heart. And it was Our Lady of Fatima, actually, the school where we went for our retreat. And I remember they have in a very big part of the wall it was in the gym. So they have this huge paint of Our Lady of Fatima. So we entered the gym, it was like this huge image of Our Lady of Fatima. and I just had my encounter with the Lord as never before in that retreat. And it was like a life-changing moment. And I remember going back to my house with my mom, and I just cried, and I told her, Mom, I want to be Catholic again. And she's like, what do you mean by that? You want to be Catholic? Like, yes, I don't know why, but I just want to be Catholic. And I know that the Lord is just, it gives us like a glimpse of what we really are. And it's like, you're going to the wrong direction. And I just felt all that void, all the half-truth that I knew. It was like, okay, I can enlighten that. I can feel that. I can give you the whole truth. And I was little by little, I would go to Mass. I didn't even know how to act in Mass. I was like, I'm gonna just follow people, oh, they kneel, I'm gonna kneel, and they didn't know. So I remember and I started to go to the sister's house, because I went to a retreat that it was their retreat. They were the ones who were organizing. So they started to help me, like, go to this priest, go for confession, receive the Holy Eucharist. And then I remember the priest that was from my parish, perpetual help, he helped me so much. So I would go to confession every 15 days and talk to him, like, because I didn't have a spiritual director at that time. So I would like cry to him, like, please help me, Father. And he will be so patient to me, and he will be like, no, it's okay. This is black, this is white, this is not. He was like separating things from me. And it was like a long discernment, first of the faith, and then of actually understanding. Not that the Lord, I'm sure that he was already calling me, but I had no clue what was going on, because I was new to the faith. And I remember when I just have this first moment of like, I just feel that I have to do something. I will go to Mass every day. I will go to adoration. I will do everything, the right thing to do. And it was not fulfilling enough. It was like not enough. It was something that, why should I do more? Do I spend more time in church? What do I do, right? And it came to this moment of like, Lord, do you want me to be a sister?
Oh.
I don't want to be a sister. I'm like, I don't want to be a sister, because their life is so hard, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. They kneel for hours. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. And I would cry, and I would go for adoration. I don't want to be a sister. And I was like, and it was funny because I told one of the sisters.
God.
Yeah, and I was telling one of the sisters, Sister, I don't even know if God is calling me. And maybe he's calling me, but I don't know, because I've never been called before. So I don't know how being called feel like, And it was funny, but it was a very beautiful discernment. And finally, I remember when I told the sister, because it's between me and God. It's not the spiritual director and the vocational director, just, the person just help you. And you have to find with the Lord what it is, right? Because it's you and God. And I just, look, sister, now I'm certain the Lord is calling me. I don't know if I want that, but if the Lord want me, who am I to say no? I'm a nobody, and he's calling me, even though I'm the worst sinner in the world, but he called me. So that was it, was this very moment of like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And it was a whole process. And I remember when I joined, I just always felt like this void that was there. I'm not saying that it's all fulfilled, because the Lord just gives us little by little. Otherwise, we're going to be so overwhelmed with his grace. So he gives us little by little, by little, because he knows what I can handle, right? So he gave us little by little. And I'm so happy, because I know, and now that I see back, right, all the signs, all the things, I'm like, yeah, it was so clear, right? I was the one that was trouble. I couldn't understand. It was too hard for me. But I knew that the Lord was just there calling me, and that's how I joined in 2015. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for your testimony. Now let us listen to Maria Elisa.
Okay, I was born in a Catholic family too.
Yeah.
And when I was 16, I used to participate in a youth group in my parish, and I got very closer and closer to the Holy Scriptures. And I got to the point that I said to myself, okay, I really like it. I want to do and I want to be everything that Jesus says here in this Bible. I want to do everything. I want to be it. and I googled, believe it or not, about the vacations.
Oh, that's very
And-
modern.
I read everything, and when I read about the religious life, I felt like, oh my gosh, this is it. I have no escape. This is it. God's calling me, and I really want to be it. This is beautiful. This everything that I read, what the nuns do, what they are, I think like it was already inside on me. So
Mhm.
again, believe it or not, I googled and I met the sisters through Instagram.
Mhm.
And because I would like to have like this Franciscan spirituality. So
Yeah, well, your habit is
Yeah.
very Franciscan,
Yeah.
so we are Sisters of the Poor, of course.
Mhm.
It was
we
from the
have
poor.
Francis and Saint Clare as our patron saints.
Ah, very
So
good. Mhm.
I knew that I want to serve the poor, that I want to help the people who are suffering, and I want to be a nun. So I called the sisters and I said, that's it, my name is Sister Maria Elisa and I want to be a nun. So they
Yeah, that
accepted
was a
me.
clear cut.
Yeah, she was always to the point.
No resistance.
Yeah, it took me a while
Mhm.
to get this decision, but then when I was 18, I joined the community. Today,
Okay. Oh, 18.
I have just, this is my second years with the vows.
Okay.
I'm really young now. God has leading me to this way that I dreamed.
Okay, so we are at the end of our program. So I would like, we missionaries, we do mission appeals. So can you do an appeal for, because I know that you have these, and also call for people to this retreat that I know that you are going to do, and so
Yeah.
say that clearly, where and when, and then appeal for people
Yeah.
that might follow you.
Yeah. So we are having an upcoming event on the 18th of May. It's a Saturday. It will be in the parish
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, here in Toronto. So
Toronto.
we're so happy to have that.
Archdiocese Street.
Yes, there you go. There
Then I
you go.
don't know the number.
You know more than me.
Well, I celebrate their mass many times.
So that's beautiful. So it will be in that church. It will start at 9 a.m. So we're gonna have a first. It's a vocational mission. I mean, we're gonna do street ministry.
Vocational retreat.
Yeah, but we're also gonna have talks, adoration about vocation, and also a moment with the Lord to kind of pray
Yes.
and also seek to that very will of God, because sometimes we're just what's going on, what we do, how to discern our vocation. So it's like putting all the things together, like, okay, so we have a little talk with Father. We're gonna have this beautiful person of Father Stephen from the Diocese of Peterborough. So we're so happy he's gonna talk about vocation, and we're so happy that we have nuns and a priest, and so that's very beautiful. And it's gonna happen from 9 to 4:30 p.m. So 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So we're gonna have also the experience to go out on the streets.
So the practice.
Yeah, the practice of the gospel. So we're just gonna go and hang out with them, and the food is always an excuse to get to them, because whatever, even
That's
for
true.
everybody, if you say we're gonna have a meeting and people are like, okay, we're gonna have snacks, yeah. So it's like, it's something that how it gives us, like, it gets us close to them. So yeah, it's gonna be an amazing experience. We're gonna be, all the sisters will be there from Hamilton, and yet also appeal to.
So you have a community in Hamilton?
In Hamilton, yes, we have a house in Hamilton. That's the only place we're in Canada right now.
Yeah.
In Hamilton, but hopefully, I mean, one day we'll be expanded more in Canada.
Toronto.
In Toronto,
There
yeah,
are more
that's,
drug addicts here in Toronto than in Hamilton.
yeah, it is a lot.
And homeless and
Yes,
so
homelessness, yes. So yeah, but we also have a ministry in Hamilton if whoever wants to go, and it's around or it's closer that is listening right now.
And this retreat is for young men and young women.
Yes, we ask that the person might be 18 years old, just because it's easier, because we're going to the streets, and otherwise it will have to be with their parents or someone that would take care of them. So it's from 18 to 30, 35 maybe, or maybe more, depends. But it's for men and women. So whoever wants to join us and to be with us and to have the experience that the Lord is providing for us, even to the practice and also to the very moment of understanding His will, and ask for that He may give us the grace to understand what He wants for our lives.
Okay, so it's all from Ready Maria Canada in the city of Toronto. Thank you for coming, and anytime, come again. If you want to do a program from here, you can do it too, or
Thank
from
you.
Hamilton
Oh, thank
with
you
your
so
cell
much.
phone. So
Yeah, thank you so much, Father. Thank
you are welcome.